Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
The NHT is lending up to $12 million for homes priced at $14 million or less, making home ownership more accessible for Jamaicans. We are building Jamaica.
The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is
9 o'clock.
You're inside the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Good morning to you. It is Thursday. It's Thursday, October 9, 2025. We are alive and well, and for that we give God thanks. Good morning to you. If you're listening on the 90 FM band, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7 or 90.9, thank you so much for joining us on your radio. We appreciate your company there. If you're listening and watching on our YouTube channel, good morning to you. The channel is Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. That's Nationwide 90 FM LIVE with a number 2 beside that. Ensure that you go on over there and subscribe if you haven't done so already. All right, so I am seeing Errol Townsend first in the YouTube chat this morning. Good morning to you, Errol. Hugh Donaldson, good morning to you as well. Monique Hunter, top of the morning to you. Albert Morgan, good morning to you. Rupert Wilson, Zazzy Girl, and all the others over there on YouTube, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the YouTube platform. If you are listening from our mobile app, which is available for free on the Google Play and the Apple App Store, that's Revo News. So if you want to find our mobile app, it's Revo News. Put that in the search bar in your whichever app store you're using, and you should be able to find our brand new app. And if you're listening or watching from our website, revonews.ai, good morning to you as well. Thank you so much for making it Nationwide 90 FM. This morning, we are outside again. And this time we are at the UDC headquarters. That's the Urban Development Corporation. We are here for their Customer Service Day. I believe this entire week is celebrated as Customer Service Week, and UDC is having a special Customer Service Day celebration, and we are here to partake in that with them. Of course, later on during Cliff Hughes Online, you will hear more from some of the UDC executives here and more about their customer service celebration today. But that's later on. In the meantime, inside the Consumer Hour, we have for you MLSS and You.
MLSS and You is brought to you by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, providing opportunity, stability, and social protection.
And this morning, inside MLSS and You, we should be speaking with the Executive Director of the Abilities Foundation. The Abilities Foundation has partnered with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security to serve as a national model for inclusive development, empowerment, and innovation through initiatives such as the Living Labs Project. Both institutions are creating new pathways for persons with disabilities to learn, work, and thrive. We are working on getting a Miss Hamilton, Suzanne Hamilton, Executive Director of the Abilities Foundation, on the line. But just in the meantime, I'm always trying my best, to advocate for or minority groups in the country, and those who are disabled are part of that group. And it is very important that the ministry, who has responsibility for that group, is doing as much as they can to ensure that we have an inclusive and accessible society in all aspects of inclusivity and accessibility, whether it be in infrastructure, in our systems, in the labor force, wherever we have leisure happening, in sports, in culture, in every aspect of our society. We should ensure that there is inclusivity and accessibility for our disabled community. And unfortunately, it is not the case in some aspects of our society. We do have the Disabilities Act that has been passed for some time now, but it seems as if everybody is still not on board with ensuring that they are abiding by the Disabilities Act. We had William, who is one of our loyal listeners, who is blind, who called yesterday telling us about his experience on the JUTC bus, where he went on. He realized that, the bus was full, and he asked that one of the seats designated for persons with disabilities, which are the first 4 seats at the front of the bus, he asked for one of those seats to be made available for him. And he said he could hear a young lady saying she not get up because she pay her money. Now, if this is where we are in the society and this is how we are going to treat the disabled community, we have a major problem. And it's always said, especially when I hear conversations around making things accessible for persons with disability, if it's accessible for the disabled community, it's accessible for all. Think about it. If we make things accessible for the disabled community, it's accessible for all. Because if there's a ramp in place for someone who cannot walk, who is in a wheelchair, those who can walk up the ramp. If something is made accessible, a faucet in the bathroom is made accessible for somebody who is blind, so that them can just put them hand under and the water come out, and they do have to be, feeling and searching and wondering. It's made accessible for all, because if you can see, you just put your hand there as well. So it's very important, and I appreciate the work of the ministry, where where they're trying to ensure that all aspects of our society it's accessible for the disabled community. But I believe that there's so much more that we can do as a society, and it's not only the ministry, but all those who have the power to change things as well can play their part, and you as well as a regular citizen of Jamaica can play your part in ensuring that the disabled community also feels like part of the society. Miss Hamilton is now on the line with us, Executive Director of the Abilities Foundation, Miss Suzanne Hamilton. Good morning to you, Miss Hamilton.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Really appreciate when we are able to have these conversations. Now, just for our listeners and viewers who may not know what the Abilities Foundation is, and what the work of the Abilities Foundation entails, please inform us.
Okay, good morning, everyone that's listening in. So Abilities Foundation was established in 1992. It is a very impactful institution where we provide training and empowerment for persons with disabilities. Our mission is to provide, and we have been providing, quality vocational education that enables persons to transition independently to the workforce. And over the last 32 years, we have had a close relationship. One of our main partners is the Ministry of Labor and Social Security and Heart NSTA Trust.
So the Abilities Foundation, you have programs for all ages?
We start Abilities Foundation. We start at age 17 up, and we are a unique institution because we cater for all disabilities. So we have persons who are blind or low vision, deaf or hard of hearing, persons who are neurodivergent on the autistic spectrum. We have persons here who have learning disabilities and mental disabilities, physical and also physical disabilities. And we offer training courses in design and decor, beauty services, carpentry, data operations, housekeeping. And from 2023, we started to offer agricultural courses right across the board for all of our students.
So, the Abilities Foundation essentially is it's like a college for persons with disabilities.
I'm glad you said that. Yes, it is a tertiary, almost a tertiary institution, vocational, and this may be the only institution that persons with disabilities will matriculate to. Although we do have students that have matriculated to the University of the West Indies, UTEC, after completing their skills training here.
Awesome. Very happy to hear that, because we know that there are institutions at the early childhood level, at the primary level, and even at the secondary level that take care of students who have disabilities. But not very often we hear about the Abilities Foundation, where those who are 17 and older who have disabilities can go to for skills training and so forth. So very happy to know that this is still going on and it's thriving. Now, you've partnered with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security for the creation of the Living Labs project. What exactly is the Living Labs project?
So the Living Labs project, we partnered with not only the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, but the Island City Labs, which is a small NGO, a civil engineering NGO, and they identified Abilities Foundation. We started to have flooding challenges, and so they identified us as one of the recipients of this grant through an organization, a global organization called Arup Global, which is a global consultancy firm that deals with climate resilience projects. And so we were the happy recipients of this grant, where the campus will be transformed into a living lab. And just to explain what that is that
right.
they have started to implement nature-based solutions to mitigate our flooding challenges. But in also implementing these nature-based solutions, it has created a living lab where we will be able to extract a curriculum, where we will be able to teach persons with disabilities that are interested in learning about this now green revolution in urban-based, nature-based solutions. In addition, it will make our campus more resilient and inclusive and accessible for all of our trainees here. So currently, they have implemented river gardens, bioswales, and we now have additional walkways for our students that will have mobility disabilities.
Awesome. So it sounds to me then, Ms. Hamilton, that you will be able to add new courses to your curriculum through the Living Labs project.
Most definitely. Because one of the aims of the project is to create an inclusive green collar workforce, where we are now developing a curriculum with hard MSPHOs focused on the practical and technical skills to implement small-scale nature-based solutions. And of course, in Kingston, you see the flooding challenges. So we hope that we will be seen as a best practice that can be implemented right across Kingston and St. Andrew, where these nature-based solutions can be implemented to mitigate against flooding.
Awesome. We are up on the break. We're going to take the break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with you, Ms. Hamilton, about the Abilities Foundation and the work that this Living Labs project, how this Living Labs project will transform the work of the Abilities Foundation.
Decorate and redecorate your space with water-resistant, colorful, and fast-drying paints from Edgechem Paints. The time by Edgechem Paints, changing lives 1 gallon at a time, is
9:15.
Ever wondered how to spot a scam before it drains your account? Or how Jamaica's top financial crime fighters track down the money? Join the Financial Investigations Division on Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. for FID in Action, an informative, engaging feature designed to keep you and your money safe. Learn practical tips to help you spot, prevent, and report financial crimes. Understand how the FID protects the financial system. That's FID in Action, protecting you, preventing financial crime. On Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. Brought to you by the Financial Investigations Division.
Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I am Nora Gay Banton. You're inside MLSS&U, a program brought to you by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. And we are speaking with the Executive Director of the Abilities Foundation, Ms. Suzanne Hamilton. And we are speaking about the work of the Abilities Foundation, helping persons with disabilities transition into the workforce, and also this new Living Labs project that has been introduced at the Abilities Foundation, and how it will help to transform the work done by the Abilities Foundation. Ms. Hamilton, the Living Labs project is already in place at the Abilities Foundation, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes.
And what is the vision for the next phase of the Living Labs project? Where are you seeing it going in the near future?
Right. Okay, so, and I just wanted to make this point that where the project is now, they're actually planting landscaping plants, and the working crew is actually students from Abilities and Ebony Heart NSCA. So already they are gaining experience in building out the project. So the next phase is actually the curriculum development of the course and start training. And also there's a phase 2 of the project where we are going to be expanding the flood mitigation techniques right throughout the properties. And so the school, which is located at 191 Constant Spring Road, we're now going to be implementing a courtyard with beautiful landscaping plants. It's going to be aesthetically pleasing for the students. They will feel comfortable in learning. We're envisioning greater outcomes with their assessments. And I want to also make the point that in the rollout of the project, they engage the student body and ask them, what would you like on the campus? How would your learning be enhanced? And the students actually told them that they needed more seating areas, they wanted to feel comfortable at school. And so all of that was integrated in the project. So the campus will be a learning lab, but also at the same time, the students will feel comfortable and be able to learn in a very pleasing environment. So between now and summer 2026, the other phases will be implemented.
Awesome. There are, as you mentioned earlier, several vocational training courses at Abilities Foundation for your students. What kind of certification or qualifications do the students at Abilities Foundation get when they complete these courses or when they are ready to transition into the workforce?
Right. All of our training programs are certified through the HEART NSCA Trust. All of the courses are level 2 job certification courses, and so at the end of their studies, they matriculate with a job cert level 2 from HEART Trust. So our students, in particular data operations students, it's a 2-year program, and when they graduate, they will graduate with 2 certificates. A level 2 in data processing and a level 2 in customer service. And so that is right across the board. Housekeeping, our students will get a level 2 in being a laundry attendant and a level 2 in a room attendant for the hotel industry. So those are some of the qualifications that they will earn.
What is the capacity at the Abilities Foundation?
Being a special needs institution, we have a capacity of about 100 students. Sometimes we go over to 110. However, we have to be mindful of the instructional guidelines as it relates to training persons with disabilities. So each class will have about 10 to 12 students, and bearing in mind, each class will have different disabilities. So in one class, you'll have a deaf student, a blind student, an autistic student, and so those are some of the areas that we definitely need additional support, and we're in conversations with HEART, to increase capacity for support in these areas.
What about your staff complement? Do you have enough trainers, lecturers, teachers to teach the amount of students that you have, or is there a need for more facilitators at the Abilities Foundation?
Right, there is a need for additional staff in terms of support in the classrooms, and we are in conversation with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information and HEART to see if we can, at least have support staff for the teachers. In addition, because we're now diversifying our courses, and of course with the impact of the creative industry, we would like, of course, a theater arts teacher, a music teacher, because we are seeing the talent and we want to also be able to help them to transition to those industries as well. So there's space for additional teaching staff for the creative
industry. Nice. Yeah. Now, you mentioned at the very beginning of this interview that the intention, the aim, is to have these students who come through the Abilities Foundation be able to transition into the workforce. When students get to the point of the end of their courses, what is the reception like from employers when you seek or do you seek employment for these workers? What's the process for transitioning?
Okay, very good question. So we have a great relationship with HEART NSCA and their summer apprenticeship program, and also their 6-month empowerment program, and so far from 2020 it has been quite successful. We have been able to place over 50 students in summer employment, and just this year we were able to place 15 students in 6 months to 1 year employment solution. I have to say that the employers are very receptive. I think once they understand and they are sensitized to employing persons with disabilities, they're very open. I would just like to mention a success story over the summer. That
yes, I was about to ask. Yes.
Yes, our top student, I'm going to call his name Jerome Price. He did his apprenticeship at Kingston Bookshop, and he was named the best summer worker. And
wow.
So, we feel good when we see these outcomes, and it encourages employers also to look to Abilities Foundation to hire persons with disabilities.
What is the plan, Ms. Hamilton, to ensure that more persons with disabilities are able to access Abilities Foundation for vocational training? There may be some out there, some parents, maybe their children pass through the secondary school system or through another school, a special needs school, and after that they're not sure where to go. What is the Abilities Foundation doing to ensure that more persons with disabilities have access to the training available?
The reality is it's just one Abilities Foundation, and we have, we only can accommodate so many students. However, we are looking at an online training program and a learning management system. Currently, no, we have about 5 students that are in Portland. I think one is in Montego Bay, that they access our data processing training online, and they only come to Kingston for exams. And so if we could really broaden and extend that program, you'd see more persons being able to access that training. And there are plans afoot to engage other institutions to see how we can partner and also, courses throughout the island. Currently now, we just want to encourage parents to really look at Abilities Foundation. If your child is not reading at age 17, definitely you have to get that child assessed, and they probably have a learning disability, and look at vocational training and look to Abilities Foundation.
Indeed.
Our registration, let me just plug here, our registration times are in May of every year, and you can go on our website, www.abilitiesfoundationja.com, and put in an application. Currently now, we have about 2 spaces in beauty services, but all other courses are fully engaged.
All right, so that's www.abilitiesfoundation.com. You can go on abilitiesfoundationja.com, and you remind them of your registration period.
It starts in May of every year, the first Monday in May, and they can walk in and they can call and make an appointment, and we will definitely assess them and put them in the right sphere.
As you mentioned earlier, Ms. Hamilton, about looking to partner with other institutions, as you mentioned, those students who are showing interest in the creative industry, I thought maybe, the Edna Manley College could maybe see if they could facilitate a small section of the school or a class per week for those students who are expressing interest, and it's a way in which the Abilities Foundation can expand their reach. If other institutions are seeking to partner, then you can expand your capacity and maybe even expand the offerings that you have at the Abilities Foundation. It's something that other institutions should definitely look to engage in, especially as we try to ensure that our society is accessible for all.
Exactly, and inclusive for everyone.
Absolutely.
What we have found over the years, and I just want to even make this point, that we have noticed that with the non-communicable diseases, a lot of our persons who are getting blind in their 30s and 40s, they are now coming to Abilities because they maybe had diabetes. So don't think that you that disability won't affect you. It can affect you later in life. And at least we have an institution like Abilities that you can come and, upskill, so you can still not feel that you won't be included in society.
We're up on the break. We'll take the break, but when we come back, we'll talk more about the partnerships that the Abilities Foundation have with other government institutions and maybe non-government organizations to help with your outcome after the break.
Spectrum Insurance Brokers provides quality insurance coverage and risk management services. The time by Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited, setting the industry standards, is
9:30.
Me grew up as my granny save our money under our mattress.
But at an old time something. That's where I save my money in the bank. And become I want to buy a little house, but also save in a building society. We have to be smart with how we save our money.
So what if the bank crash?
Well, that's where JDIC comes in. Make I tell you something. With the JDIC Deposit Insurance Scheme, once you save your money in a commercial bank, merchant bank, or building society, your deposit is covered up to a maximum of $1.2 million per depositor per financial institution if the institution fails. All the information that you need is available at jdic.org, and you can follow their social media platform for more information.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. If you're just joining us, you may have missed earlier when I said that we are outside this morning. Once again, we're at the Urban Development Corporation. We're here for their Customer Service Celebration, Customer Service Day celebration. This entire week, I believe, is celebrated as Customer Service Week, and we're here for the UDC's Customer Service Day celebration. So you'll hear much more about that later on inside Cliff Hughes Online, but in the meantime, we are still inside MLSS and You in the Consumer Hour. This is a program brought to you by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, and we are speaking with the Executive Director of the Abilities Foundation, Ms. Suzanne Hamilton. We've been talking to Ms. Hamilton about the work of the Abilities Foundation and their partnerships, and we want to go a little deeper in the aspect of partnerships. Ms. Hamilton, we know that you've partnered with the Ministry for the Living Labs project, but talk to me about some of the other partnerships that you have with other institutions and agencies that help you to adequately, prepare your students for the workforce and help you with executing your courses.
Right. Well, and of course, and when I mentioned Heart Trust. However, we are constantly seeking funding, and so we have had a wonderful relationship with Digital Foundation, they have invested in a multi-purpose lab with 25 computer stations along with an interactive whiteboard, which definitely has impacted outcomes and assessments for our trainees. We partner with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, and they recently launched their I Am Able app. And so our stakeholders, our parents and our students, they are on the app, they're applying for grants. So that partnership, is one of our strategic partners in terms of ensuring that our clients have access to services. The Kiwanis Club of Constant Spring, they invested in a sick bay for our students early this year. Yes.
Nice.
The Inter-American Foundation, we got a grant from them to implement an ambassadors club, which our students have been empowered through learning about the Disabilities Act, the Disabilities Tribunal, And now these students are advocates and they're going out to schools and sharing their experiences, their lived experiences of having a disability, and also educating students at Immaculate or other schools about what the disabilities practice about. Couples Resort, led by Charmaine Bailey, who is the resident manager. Every year, they open up the hotel for our students to go into the guest rooms and to do departure rooms. And so that is critical to have these experiential field trips. So they go to couples every year. And it's just a small, example of our donor agencies and other partners that we have had throughout the years.
Yes.
And the Canadian Local Funds Initiative, they supported us through grants where we were able to teach and instruct women with disabilities in different farming techniques in terms of hydroponics farming. And so we were able to empower women with disabilities in rural Jamaica. So all of our partners, they are on board with us to change lives and to empower persons with disabilities.
Awesome. And as you talk about these partnerships, Miss Hamilton, I'm going to also give you an opportunity to while we're on air and the whole nation is listening, to talk about some of the current immediate needs that you have at the Abilities Foundation, and maybe some of our listeners who may be from other corporate entities who can assist will jump on board with this opportunity. So go ahead, let us know what are some of the immediate needs of the Abilities Foundation.
Thank you so much for that opportunity. We have leaking roofs, and I have to mention National Housing Trust that gave us a grant to fix a part of the roof. Nice. But however, the rest of the school needs support in that. So if anyone is listening in the construction industry and they want to support us, we definitely need support with fixing our roof. We also have fencing needs, perimeter fence, and now that we're putting up this wonderful living labs where persons can come and maybe even have their wedding receptions here, we need perimeter fencing, secure perimeter fencing for the school. And of course, if any corporate entity wants to hire persons with disability, or you want to adopt a student to give them lunch money, transportation, please call us, 969-5720, and just pledge to support a student who really needs, their miscellaneous expenses to be taken care of. We also need persons who, corporate Jamaica, to be mentors for our students, to show that they care. Because sometimes our students, especially our girls, our young ladies, they feel like because they have a disability, they will never be independent. And so I invite corporate Jamaica to come in and, if you can give us a workshop on etiquette and dining, we would welcome it. So there's so many ways that corporate Jamaica and other individuals can support, and we just encourage the listeners who are tuning in right now to just come in and tell us how you'd like to support the mission, which is inclusion and empowerment for persons with disabilities.
Absolutely. I want to get a little bit personal, but not too personal, if you don't mind. How long have you been with the Abilities Foundation?
I have been here for 15 years.
15
and
years.
it has changed my life, yes.
That's where I'm about to go, because you would have seen many students come through the program and graduate and transition into the workforce or doing their own business. Talk to me about some of the most impactful moments that you may have had, you have had at the Abilities Foundation through those 15 years.
Well, a highlight for me is the Canadian Farm Work Program, which Minister Charles initiated, which was the MLSS Inclusivity Program, and 3 of our graduates were placed, they're there now, on farms in Canada. And I can tell you, when one of the young ladies came back, she said, Miss, I bought all my furniture. I can pay my rent. I can take care of my family. That meant so much to me. And also to see some of my students getting married, creating their families. I have about 5 graduates now at Emancipation Park, and all of them own their own homes. So
Wonderful.
These are some of the, they're so numerous, but those 3 really stay in my mind all the time, and it gives me, more encouragement to go one more day. But to see my students working, buying their first vehicle, buying their home. Listen, if my students with disabilities can do that, anybody in society, you can make it. So that is what gives me my passion to come to work every day.
Awesome.
So that's how I feel, when I come to work every day.
And what for you is the most challenging part of your job as executive director of the Abilities Foundation?
I think knowing that you can't help everyone and you can't solve all the problems, that sometimes can get challenging and frustrating. But when we know that we do the best we can and have an excellent team working with, they are, we don't have enough staff, but everyone takes on multiple hats and they carry out their duties. And so, I just tell the team, listen, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's a long journey. So we just have to take one day at a time and do the best we can. As long as we try to ensure that these students, they transition to work and they feel like they have accomplished something, we would have done our job.
And what skills or what have you garnered through these 15 years, either through the Living Lab project or any of the other programs at the Abilities Foundation? You've been there for 15 years. Have you benefited from any of these programs?
Yes, I have. And incidentally, my oldest son has autism. And so when I had him, I didn't know about abilities. But being here has also, taught me as a mother how to navigate this journey with my own child.
Yeah.
And also, the Living Labs project. I didn't know anything about flood mitigation, and I'm speaking with the civil engineers. So, of course, I am more knowledgeable about what things should be put in place, not just for Abilities, but for Kingston, and where we can have green spaces and urban planning that will be inclusive for all. So I have learned that through this Living Labs project. And also this Living Labs project, my students will be able to create additional income streams because now they have the knowledge of planting landscaping plants, of biospheres and river gardens. So, it's knowledge transfer from the top to the bottom, Nice. So it has really enhanced learning for all at the institution.
Awesome. We are up on the break. We're going to take a break, Ms. Hamilton. And when we come back, we'll talk about how you measure the success rate of these programs that you embark on, the Living Labs project and others, how you measure the success and how you assess these projects when they're complete. And we'll give you an opportunity again to give your contact information and so forth after the break.
Forget ordinary, think Liquimolly. Get Get a 15% discount on all Liqui Moly oils and additives from April 25th to July 30th at all Burt's Auto Parts locations. Buy 4 or more Liqui Moly engine oils or 4 transmission oils, you get a free LM40 all-purpose cleaner. But hurry up, the offer runs while stocks last and conditions apply. Forget ordinary, think Liqui Moly, and remember, it hurts if you don't check Burt's.
Fill all your prescriptions, get cosmetics and other pharmaceutical items at Mannings Hill Pharmacy, located at 34A Mannings Hill Road, Kingston. Telephone 924-6280. At Mannings Hill Pharmacy, they stock all the hard-to-get medication. The time by Mannings Hill Pharmacy is
9:45.
This Thursday, October 9, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Cliff Hughes Online is broadcasting live from the Urban Development Corporation headquarters on the Kingston waterfront. Join us as we celebrate Customer Service Week 2025 under the theme UDC, Making Development Happen for the People of Jamaica. Hear from UDC leaders about the projects transforming communities, the partnerships shaping progress, and the vision driving nation building. You don't want to miss this informative and inspiring event. So, tune in to Cliff Hughes Online Thursday, October 9 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're celebrating Customer Service Week 2025 with the Urban Development Corporation. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation. Are you ready for something mega? Come join us at Megamart Waterloo, 29 Upper Waterloo Road on Friday, October 10 from 3 to 5 p.m. We're bringing you the Mega Wheels 2 Grand Draw. Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM with me, Robianne and Pepita from 3 to 5 p.m. live from Megamart Waterloo. Come join amazing samplings from Megamart's co-sponsors while joining the celebration. The grand prize is a brand new 2025 Hyundai Tucson, and second and third place winners will enjoy monthly shopping sprees for a year. We're teaming up with Megamart to bring you non-stop excitement, surprise guests, giveaways, samplings, and all the Mega Wheels 2 energy. So don't just tune in. Come on, join in on the action. Live at Megamart Waterloo, Friday, October 10 from 3 to 5 p.m. It's the Mega Wheels 2 Grand Draw. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Megamart. Best value by far.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's MLSS and You this morning, a program brought to you by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. And this morning, we are having a conversation with the Executive Director of the Abilities Foundation. We've been talking to the Executive Director of the Abilities Foundation, Ms. Suzanne Hamilton, And we are about to wrap up our conversation with Miss Hamilton. But if you missed it, there is a lot of information for you to know about the Abilities Foundation. Just go back to our YouTube channel and go back to the beginning and listen. But Miss Hamilton, about the success rate, how you measure the success or how you assess these projects and programs that you have. Talk to us about that.
Right. So our measurements that we have done over the years, qualitative and quantitative data is collected and shared with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and the Planning Institute of Jamaica. So, for example, Digicel gave us, the multi-purpose room, and so we wanted to measure the outcomes of that interactive space. And what we found out this year was that the assessment rate for data operations increased from about 80% to 92% pass rate. And also our students in remedial English, the data collected from those classes show greater interaction with the curriculum. Students are excited for class, and then we see it in the assessment rate, which all right through all the programs have seen increases in the assessment pass rate. So we are about between 92 to 98% pass rate in all of our skill areas. As it relates to the Living Lab project, once fully completed, we'll be gathering data on reduced flood risk, and improved ecosystem, reduce disaster costs to the schools. And also, that information is submitted to PIOJ, Ministry of Labour and Social Security, which is aligned with the National Development Goals, the Vision 2030, and the global targets like the Sustainable Development Goals. So in all the projects, we measure, we monitor, evaluate, and we gather primary data for analysis. And so I am sure whatever data is submitted to the ministry will also inform, policy direction as well.
I should have asked you earlier, Ms. Hamilton, but it just came back to me. Do you also offer like CSEC, City and Guilds courses at the Abilities Foundation?
Yeah, well, it is in our work plan, our 3-year work plan, that is the direction that we are going, where we definitely want to offer City and Guilds in math and English, and discussions are underway to also introduce food prep and CSEC. However, this of course is tied to a budget, and so discussions are ongoing on when it can be implemented.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Hamilton, for joining us. I'm going to give you the opportunity again to give out your contact information so that persons who are interested, whether they there's a student who they think needs to enroll at the Abilities Foundation, or they want to assist monetarily or otherwise with the work of the Abilities Foundation, how they can reach you.
Right. Thanks for the opportunity again. So you can call us at 969-5720 and 876. Also, you can visit our website at abilitiesfoundationja.com, and you can also leave a message there for us, which we will definitely answer. You can also send us an email at abilitiesfoundation@yahoo.com, and of course, your email will be answered. If you want to, adopt a student to assist in their everyday costs, or you want to support the school in any of the areas I mentioned with, infrastructural repairs and mentorship of our students, you can reach us on those channels. We're also on Instagram. So we have a farmers market. If I can just plug this, it's on the 31st of October. We have a farmers market, and so we're looking for support on that day. The 31st of October, farmers market, 191 Constance Street.
All right, and if you want more updates from their Instagram, it's Abilities Foundation Jam, or if you just search Abilities Foundation, you will be able to find the page there. Pretty easy to find, and I see the information right there about the farmers market on October 31. So if you can, go on down and support the farmers market being held at the Abilities Foundation, 191 Constant Spring Road. Thank you so much, Ms. Hamilton, for joining us this morning and sharing about the Abilities Foundation, and all the best to yourself and the rest of your team as you continue the great work at the Abilities Foundation.
Thank you so much for having me, and all the best to you and the listeners. Thank you.
All right. That was Miss Hamilton. She is Executive Director of the Abilities Foundation, Suzanne Hamilton, talking to us there about the work of the Abilities Foundation, and especially about their partnership with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security for that Living Labs project, which is currently ongoing at the Abilities Foundation, working with Heart NSTA Trust for that project. Thank you so much, Miss Hamilton. That's where we're going to leave it for MLSSNU and the Consumer Hour this morning, making way now for Cliff Hughes Online, coming to you live from the UDC headquarters, downtown Kingston on the waterfront. We're here for their Customer Service Day.
MLSS and You was brought to you by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, providing opportunity, stability, and social protection. That was the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Are you ready for something mega?